Well, friends, it is the end of 2018, which means another year of travel has come and gone and left us with a whole bunch of memories, which we are going to discuss. Some good, some not so much, because this is a recap video of the best and worst things that have happened on my travels in 2018. Let's get started. Best. Checking off my sixth wonder of the world, the Taj Mahal in India. God, this has been like, I don't really have many bucket lists, but if I was to have a bucket list, I guess the 7 wonders of the world is a pretty good one. So I was super excited to finally get to India this year and to finally visit the Taj Mahal, which was everything and more that I could imagine. Worst. Falling into a ditch and scarring my leg in India. So it was the first day I arrived in India, the first evening, and we were all going out to dinner as a group, and it was the day before Holi, the festival that we were there to attend. So people were out in the street celebrating, and as we were walking down the street, some kids or teenagers, somebody from the balconies started throwing water balloons at us, and so we all tried to run away from the water balloons because you don't actually know what's in these water balloons. And I ran behind my friend toward this ditch. So ditches in India are open with these individual cement blocks kind of on top of them, so you could walk over top. However, though, when I stepped on one of the cement blocks, it fell from underneath me. My left leg went right into the muddy, dirty ditch water, and my right leg braced itself on the edge of the other cement block, which just rammed into my shin bone and made a huge gash into my shin. So that evening, not only did it swell to the size of a baseball, I also had an open wound. So for 3 weeks, I had to kind of keep it covered, and then it never really got to heal because it was so warm, and then it got infected, and it took 2 months to actually heal up, which is not good. And now I have a little India scar on my leg. Best. This year was the year of festivals. We attended 3 different festivals, and each of them had some amazing performances that were super fun to watch and attend. But I think the one that stood out to me the most was seeing Eminem at Gumball in New York, because that was our teenagehood. I grew up with all of those songs, so it was super nostalgic and a lot of fun. Worst. Injury number 2. So you know those waivers that you sign before you go do an activity that says, if you have a history of back problems or history of wrist problems, you probably shouldn't do it? Well, definitely did not read those waivers properly. And we were go-karting in Vegas, and I have a history of back problems. And we went over a jump a little bit too fast. And when we came down on it, I bashed my back into the seat, and I got the wind knocked completely out of me. I couldn't even breathe, and my whole back was so much pain. I had to ice it and lie down for the whole rest of the day. I was ibuprofening it, and it took about 2 months of chiropractor to get over it. And I was really, really worried because in 2 weeks from that injury, I was planning the Scotland backpacking trip, and where I had to carry my big backpack. And I was worried I wouldn't be able to do it, although it did end up being fine because I was super cautious and made sure I wasn't really putting my weight on my back, because when you're backpacking, you're supposed to put it on your hips. So that sucked. Another injury too. This is definitely the sign that I'm getting old. Best. Camping in Scotland. This was a backpacking, hiking, camping trip where we had to hike all of our gear in. We had to Loch Docker, which is one of the lesser known lochs. It was super remote. There was only a couple of the people we saw when we were there. We had the whole campsite by the lake to ourselves. It was so awesome. And then we went to this natural water slide. We're sliding down it, and we had this huge Scotland Valley all to ourselves. It was just a really cool experience. Anytime you can get back to nature and just fully embrace it is just an awesome travel experience, in my opinion. Worst. The flooding in our hotel in France. Now, you guys haven't seen the France videos yet because they're coming out in January. But on our first night in France, we were super completely jet lagged. And at 4 in the morning, we noticed there were sirens outside of our window, and a bunch of people were evacuating the building and standing outside. And we kind of noticed this, and we didn't know what was going on because all the power was out and there were people outside, but we were told to evacuate, and there was no like alarms that had gone off, so we didn't really know what was happening. And we later found out that the building was flooding. So the kitchen that was on the top floor, it was on like the 6th floor, had flooded all down the side of the building and into people's like hotel suites. So they were evacuating that side of the building, but we didn't luckily have to be evacuated. So I didn't actually like, capture any footage of the hotel flooding and all of this happening because it was 4 in the morning and I just wanted to sleep. However, though, it meant that on our first night when we were jet lagged, the shower wasn't working because all the water was turned off and there was no electricity. So I had to, we had a little bit of leftover cold water that we kind of like bathed ourselves, towel bathed ourselves. Couldn't even wash my hair. Just after flying to Europe is not a great feeling. And I felt really disgusting the next day and just, yeah, best. Having our friends come and visit us in our hometown. So we live in the smaller BC town of Kelowna, where not a lot of travel vloggers venture to. But this year, 2 of my travel vlogging friends, Amy and Beck, and Kara and Nate came through here in their vans, and it was so much fun just getting to explore my hometown. It's just a really fun experience of playing tourist in your hometown and getting that like staycation of not having to venture off into some faraway land, but really enjoying what's in your own backyard. Worst. This wasn't so much a travel experience per se, but more of a life experience that was mixed in with travel. But it was the death of my 3 travel vlogging friends that happened in Shannon Falls in July, which I feel like I've already done a video all about that, and it really hit me hard and made me really think about a lot of stuff. And I actually found out about it when we were in Winnipeg. So we were filming all the Winnipeg video and on a Winnipeg trip, and it was really hard to just focus and travel and still film while also trying to grieve and just go through the process. Like, I was still in shock. I feel like for that whole trip, like, I still didn't believe it was real, and I was just in shock and just trying to get through and get back home as soon as we can. Best, driving supercars in Vegas. So this was just super fun. We had the track at Speed Vegas where we just got to drive a bunch of supercars around it. Matt drove a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, and I got a Porsche and a Mercedes. It was just a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. Worst, health problems. Number 3, just general health problems that I've been dealing with in August and September that kind of made the fall season forced me to slow down a little bit more and just take it a little bit more easier. Just kind of feeling a bit burnt out with all of the travel. It was a lot of travel this year. It was a lot of international flights, which always just throw your body in and out of whack. We were just not sleeping well this year. Best. This was something I didn't really know what it was going into it, and I didn't really expect much, but it was this epic sailboat race in the Caribbean. Like, I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of professional, like, sailboat racers racing beside each other, weaving in and out on the ocean. It was crazy. Like, it was a crazy spectacle, nothing I'd ever seen before. And it was just a really fun day out in the boat watching them do this. I got very burnt afterwards, but it was all good and all worth it because, you know, we chased that race. Worst, filming in Quebec in the wintertime. Now, Quebec itself is beautiful, but we were filming in negative 18 degrees Celsius, which is about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. It was so cold out to be out there all day. We were out for like 2 weeks filming, and we realized very quickly we did not have proper winter boots. We did not have proper winter gloves because both our toes and our fingers were freezing the entire time. We had to constantly be taking breaks, coffee breaks, tea breaks, lunch break, second lunch break, snack break, just to get inside to warm up our toes and our feet and our camera gear because the batteries kept acting up. Our shutter was literally freezing in place. It kept getting stuck. It was just problem after problem. Probably one of the most difficult filming conditions we've ever filmed in. Whew, another year of travels completed. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as a thank you for following along with me this year, for subscribing to my channel, I've got a bunch of postcards that I'm gonna be giving away in this video. So these are various postcards that I picked up on my travels this year that I'll be writing to you guys and gals. So all you gotta do to have a chance to win one of these postcards is 1, be following me on Instagram, and 2, leave a comment down below telling me your best and or worst moment of 2018. It could be travel or it could not be travel. I'm curious to know, and I'll pick a bunch of you and I'll write you a postcard. So thanks so much for following, for subscribing, and we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.